Hi everyone, my name is Meg and I'm the founder of Feyday, which is a business brokerage in Singapore. We help to buy and sell businesses. So whether you are an employee, you are an entrepreneur, you are a fund or conglomerate, let's say if you are looking to acquire businesses or to sell businesses, we are a channel for you to look into. So today I have Adonsia, which is the founder of Media Unbox. We would like to invite her to do some sharing on her entrepreneurship journey.
Hi, my name is Adonsia, so I'm from Media Unbox. I'm very happy to be speaking with Mac today. I think I met him a couple of weeks ago and he has shared some very insightful advice when I'm starting up new businesses. So I'm glad that we get to talk today.
Great. So will you be able to share more about yourself in terms of like your entrepreneurship journey so far, starting from the very beginning?
Well, I would say officially, technically, I started at age 26. I got quite sick of the corporate politics and I found it very stifling because in a corporate environment or an agency environment, there were constantly many hierarchies that we have to bow to. We have to constantly maneuver the office politics in order to not be the one that is in it. So feeling quite stuck with all this, corporate affairs, I decided to step out and try something of my own. But truth to be told, I would say that my entrepreneur spirit or journey started when I was only primary 3.
Wow, that's really early. Primary 3, that would make you
I was 9
years old?
9 years old, yeah.
Wow, so wow.
I think I got into crochet, creating caterpillar ball holes and doing brooches. So I was into that craft at that point of time. And I decided to use my pocket money that I saved to buy materials. And then I started creating my own designs based on what I have, seen on the manual. And I started selling them in school. So I would bring bags of my craft or my wares to school and I will sell them at maybe $2 per piece, $1.50 per piece. And during break times, if I realize that my stock is going low, I need to clear stock, then I would sell it as an offer, like clearance sale. So that was strangely something that was etched in my mind to know how to basically create, sell, and then know when to create the offer to clear stock.
Nice. Yeah. Wow, that really started early.
I was caught by my teacher then.
Okay. I can recall that back then in my, in my secondary school days, yes. That was when I was in Sec 1, I was buying game CD. Back then games were in those CD and there's
yes.
Those not so real one. So I bought them in bulk and I tried to sell it.
Yeah.
I still remember every CD I bought for $5. I sold it for $7 or $8. So that was a way to generate extra pocket money.
Yeah.
So subsequently you started your first official business in 26?
Yes, when I was 26.
Can you share more about what is the business that you created in 26?
So when I was 26, I started to rent a space now known as Bugis Plus. It used to be called Iloma in my days. They were opening up what I would say they were modeling after a bit Far East Plaza. They were setting up a small mall where small retailers come together or startups come together, be it fashion, bags, shoes, or even luxury second-hand goods, were to be housed in that small space. Yeah, so each of us have, probably 200 square feet of space to play with. Yeah, so I started there, I rented a space. So I even tried setting up my website and selling online, but I think back then, blog shops were not the in thing. People were still very wary about buying or purchasing online. Yeah, but I even went to Shenzhen to procure materials, fabrics, talk to suppliers there, to get designs out. Or maybe I created my own design. I go there to match the fabrics that I want to purchase to create my own custom bags. So I sell everything from clothes to shoes to my shoes that I would design or create myself. Yeah.
Wow. So how many SKU do you have?
Really can't recall. That was easily 2 decades ago. But it was at one point of time I think shipment was coming in by sea, and there were probably more than, I would say easily more than 50 SKUs in the shop alone. Yeah.
Got it.
But it was a very interesting experience because, you know, you get to go out and travel and do things or see people or even get involved in cultures that you have not known in Singapore. Yeah.
I see. So, I mean, that was your first business?
Yes.
How long was your first entrepreneur run?
I think that was about a year plus. I mean, perhaps because I was a marketer before and a publicist, so I managed to get my stuff featured on like New York, 8 Days,
wow,
you know, that kind of like magazine and media. Yeah, and frankly speaking, it was very competitive within that mall because neighbors would come and look at you and go, oh, how come you have more sales than me? Yeah, it wasn't a very, honestly, it wasn't a culture in that where it was very united and everyone is trying to root for each other.
Okay.
In fact, it was my first time running a shop or space and I realized that everyone was just competing.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a quiet space and they do get a tinge jealous when you have more sales with them. Yeah, so it felt very, frankly speaking, on some days, I felt very alone. Yeah.
So were you the one like manning the booth or you have
Yes.
some other assistant?
So I couldn't find any part-time staff. I mean, occasionally there were 1 or 2 that come and help during the school holidays, but most of the time I'm there in the shop.
Like from like 10 a.m. to
Yes, correct.
10 p.m.?
Yeah, that's sort of thing.
Wow, okay, nice. So on average days itself, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can still recall, what was the daily sales like?
Daily sales. I will say that if we're lucky, if on day-to-day sales, if we can make about 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really starting small,
Yeah,
slowly
really starting
growing.
small, and yes, it doesn't, honestly, Bugis and Newman back then don't have foot traffic. Yeah, it's really difficult to draw people from Bugis Junction to come over.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. So right now you founded Media Unbox for the last few years, right?
Yes.
Since when you started that?
I would say about 8 years ago, I started what we call White Square as a video marketing agency. Yes, and then it stopped because my partner was trying a whole host of other stuff and he's young, so I decided to part ways. Amiably, of course, we are still friends today. It's just that I think I felt that being just in video marketing wasn't sufficient for me since I come from a marketing background. So I took a short break. I even cover for someone on maternity break in a big agency during COVID period for 4 months, so that I can kind of understand where the agencies these days are pivoting to, what kind of structure, you know, they are running. And it really opened up my eyes when I was there, you know. Yeah, so I decided then to pivot White Square to Media Unbox so that we are more a full-fledged marketing agency rather than just a video marketing.
Got it. So if today itself any organization is to want to know Media Unbox, can you share like what is the so-called the USP of Media Unbox?
I think we have discussed this among our team many times because we do so many things. But I think our USP is that we are all generalist marketers. We can be the marketing team in-house for these companies, small business owners, corporates or MNCs. Because our team is really trained to be multi-facet. We are not just one directional, so we are able to look at marketing as a whole. Yeah.
Got it. So what is your proudest moment as a founder of Media Unbox?
I think there were many. I had one particular teammate or staff who started on as more of a trainee, and then she moved on to tell me that I think I can take a step further with this role. I can now try to be full-time. Yeah, she came to me just telling me I want to be an intern. You know, I'm not sure if I can fit this industry. I'm not sure if I can take the stress. She's also studying a part-time degree back then. Yeah, so she grew from strength to strength. I saw her as a very shy, timid girl, someone who doesn't dare to face clients on her own, and eventually taking on projects on her own, yeah, by herself. And I think that's one of my proud moments. I think another proud moment was when we had the opportunity to work with Google Thailand to launch Bud, now known as Gemini, in a Halloween party.
Nice.
We have never really done, I would say, KL marketing of that scale.
Nice.
Because we have to manage like 200-300 KLs at every given territory, but ours was mainly to focus on Thailand. Yeah, so we flew our team there, I was there, and I think we managed to hit the KPIs, and it was like really one of like our proud moments. Yeah.
The only thing I know about Google Bard or Gemini is that I'm only
using it for.
That's all.
Yes. Yeah.
So coming back to which, I understand that you had some experience in the buying and selling of businesses, right?
Yes.
Can you elaborate more about that?
So at Tools, I would say when I was after my blogshop business, I started at 28 another. 27 or 28, yeah, around there. I started another business called Skin Story, where we wanted to bring in like natural makeup and skincare and organic skincare into treatments for clients.
Sure.
I also brought in the first ever Australian whitening pot. Yeah,
Australian
I can't name
whitening
who.
pot.
Yeah, I can't name who, but I had a celebrity who came to our shop and signed on the treatment.
So back then, so that is like a wellness beauty kind of retail shop.
Correct.
Concept.
Yeah. So we have both retail and treatments ongoing. Yeah. It was at the Central.
The Central. Got it. So you bought that business.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
I wasn't about the business. I started the business, but I sold it later on. Yeah.
You sold it later on.
Yeah.
Got it. How many years do you run the business?
I was running it for about 2 years. Truth to be told, the only reason why I sold it later on was because my mom was diagnosed with late-stage cancer, and quite an aggressive one at that. So I decided to then sell the business to focus on moving back home and stay with her to take care of her. Yeah.
So at the point of time where you decide to sell the business, how was the business doing?
We expanded already. So actually, we moved from the Central to North Canal Road.
Sure.
It's a shop house space and it was much bigger, so we could have more treatment rooms and a proper retail space. Yeah, so it's something with a comfortable reception and all that. So I would say that we are kind of moving on the traction, moving upwards, getting quite a bit of attention with the whitening pot treatment. Because everybody everybody hear about tanning pots, right? But they have not, they have not back then heard about whitening pots. But yeah.
Wow, whitening pots.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't really look into that, but okay. So if you are able to share, right? That was in which year itself?
I think it was when I was late 27, 28. Yeah.
Wow, not many people who have like started at their entrepreneur journey in their 20s, much less sold a business, right?
Yeah, correct.
Are you able to share like at the point of time when you sell it, how much was the revenue like? How much was the profit like? If you are able to...
Okay, I can't recall the profit, but I think we were clocking in about like 200,000-300,000 a month.
200,000-300,000 a month, that means close to like 2.5 million a year.
About there.
Wow, that's definitely quite a fair bit for a single unit, is it?
Yes, for a single unit.
Single unit.
But I mean, there are some days, of course, it was lower. So I won't really say it's 2.5 million. There are some days, especially on I would say the low period.
Sure.
The first few months when we started to expand, it was maybe between like 50 to 80. Then we slowly climb up to 100. Of course, there are some days when we run about 200 per month. Yeah. So I won't say it's consistent throughout the whole year.
So for a lot of startup founders who started their first business, right? Sometimes getting the eyeball is an issue.
Yes.
Like I mean, you start a business, you sell whatever products, right? Yes. Whatever offerings, and nobody heard of you.
Correct.
I mean, your shop is in the middle of nowhere, right? Then how do they know you are offering this? Obviously, these days, people know like there's like Facebook marketing, Google AdWords. At the point of time, how do you do that?
It was still very traditional media.
Okay.
So once again, I got myself featured on some of the magazines. Especially Chinese magazine, because I felt that was one of my target audience.
Okay.
We have also gone into... So the forums were starting to come up. Okay. I think we have Cozy Cot and Flower Pot back then, right? And so I did sign up a package with them so that I can have my own channel.
Nice.
And I can promote my products there. Clients can comment and review there. Yeah.
Nice.
So we went into a bit of online marketing, but it was more of community-based in forums. Yeah.
Okay. So able to share like at the point of time when you sold it, how much do you sell it for? If you are able to.
Okay, so frankly speaking, that business, I can't recall how much I sold it for. Maybe I would say it wasn't a very good sum. I sold it at perhaps about 200-300.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of it was the desperation to quickly clear it off so I can quickly move back home and focus on my mother. I think secondly was, I would say that back then I sold it to a friend who was very interested. Yeah. And her mother-in-law got involved and lawyers got involved, and then they started to obviously negotiate with you and press you on price, or talk about, equipment needs maintenance.
Yeah.
There's obviously the depreciation, when it comes to machines and stuff. So I think there were a lot at play, and being only like 28,
yeah,
I had no other support, and
yeah.
I did feel then, honestly, I was a bit shortchanged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So if today itself,
Yes.
you have to go back in time with all the experience that you have,
Mm.
what and how do you think you would do it differently?
I think first of all, I would have definitely had to do my groundwork.
Sure.
I definitely have to hire in people who are expert in valuating the business.
Sure.
That's one thing, because I was doing it alone.
Sure.
Valuation to me back then was like, I don't know how
Yeah.
much it meant, yeah. And I could only tell what I had on stock. Even like valuing the number of customers that we have retained and have that are active on board would matters in the amount I managed to sell the business for.
Definitely.
Yeah, and because Skin Story back then had very good reputation with the online community,
Correct.
I
Correct.
had something new. I had a sizable number of clients that she can onboard immediately. I should have then gotten maybe an expert valuer to come in and work on this with me. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, one of the common scenario that we see is that sometimes business owner do not know how much their business is worth.
Correct. Yes.
It can go both ways, Sometimes their business is worth 3 million.
Yes.
They may think that it's worth 30 million. No, I'm exaggerating
Yes,
here.
of course.
But
Yeah.
on the other end, they may sometimes underestimate how much the business is worth as well.
Yes. Correct.
So yes, this is a common problem
Yep.
in Singapore, because Singapore market is really small. It's not too transparent. It's very opaque.
Yes.
It's a wild west, and it's like cowboys here and there.
Yes.
So that's what we see right now.
Yeah.
So coming back to which you do you have experience in buying a business?
Yeah. So a couple of years later, I would say a decade later,
Okay.
at 37, I then wanted to try to go back into wellness and aesthetics again. So I tried to buy over a friend's beauty studio at the Central again. She back then told me her story about wanting to sell. Not that it wasn't profitable, but she just had surgery done for ovarian cancer, and she wanted to stay at home to rest, recuperate, and her husband doesn't want to obviously, be too stressed out with the business. Yeah, and out of, I would say, a bit of empathy, as well as I thought I'm looking for a space, I might as well just buy over her business.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So what happened after that?
COVID hit a few months later. Yeah, like
shucks.
practically less than 6 months later, COVID hit, and I had to shut the whole studio.
Yeah.
But it was also a relief back then, because I was starting to see cracks in her statements to me regarding the business. It wasn't the whole truth as to what she presented to me as well. So I will say again, due diligence matters, right? Friends or not, I should have done my due diligence. But COVID hit,
Yes.
and it was a very discouraging period for me, because we were just about to kickstart and do a lot of stuff, and things were moving, and suddenly I can't open shop. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yes.
It's a tough period for
Yes.
a lot of retail-based business.
But I managed to sell it during COVID.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So do you manage to recoup back everything? Or?
Not everything. It was at least it minimized my loss.
Okay, that's a good start.
Faiz was kind enough also to return back like part of my deposit, because I
Yeah.
managed to sell the business. So I would say all in all, it was still okay.
Yeah.
A learning experience, and things hit where I can't foresee it. Yeah, but I was fortunate enough to be able to let go of it during the COVID period.
Yeah, that would have been a major thing.
Yes.
So coming back to yourself in terms of your experience, where you were looking at when you want to buy a business, you were doing the due diligence part of it. What else would you do differently if you had to go back in time 4 years back, right, or 5 years back? What would you do differently then?
I would say in buying and selling of any business, really be very prudent in your due diligence,
Sure.
meaning check through the accounts,
Sure.
raise the necessary questions in terms of numbers,
Sure.
perhaps get an expert accountant or, to come in and take a look at the numbers as well.
Okay.
Because sometimes being not a number person, you may
Correct.
miss certain, stats where it's important.
Correct.
Also, don't let your emotion come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
I would say that, I wanted to start something. I
Yeah.
wasn't planning to go back to the central, but I did because, I thought, wow, the space is set up already. It has everything in place. I wasn't so sure about her clientele, and I didn't even really ask. It was really out of like, okay, I think she needs to let go of it. I had some fun, so let's do it so that, I'm helping a friend and I'm supporting a friend as well. Yeah.
Got it.
So I would say don't let your emotions come into play. Be very careful and detailed when you're checking through the accounts. Make sure that in any agreement is well set out and thought out by a lawyer perhaps, to protect yourself. And so that he can also do his second round of diligence in case there's any questions that he or she may want to raise.